Biodiversity markets, credits and offsets are being hyped up as a potential tool to finance nature conservation and meet global targets. To date, more than 300 civil society organizations and academics from around the world have come together to voice strong opposition to the use and promotion of biodiversity offsets and credits, and this figure is growing every day. This is because they will fail to protect ecosystems and instead pose significant risks to the environment, indigenous peoples, women, youth, small-scale food producers, and local and Afro-descendant communities. Biodiversity markets are being modeled on the carbon markets, which have serious failings. Additionally, there are insurmountable problems and dangers. I will highlight the main points in the common statement. 1. It is the wrong answer to the wrong question. The justification for biodiversity offsets and credits is that we really need funding for biodiversity protection. Yes, we do, but biodiversity credits and offsets build on a top-down fortress conservation model which is highly ineffective, costly, and has often involved human rights abuses. It is simply the wrong response to address biodiversity loss. Biodiversity destructive activities amounted to $7 trillion annually in 2023. Harmful subsidies were estimated to be $1.7 trillion in 2022. If these were prevented and redirected, imagine the amounts available for biodiversity protection. We want public financing. We do not want these risky and dangerous financing schemes. 2. We say no to offsetting and greenwashing. There is no more land to offset carbon emissions or biodiversity loss without displacing peoples and undermining food systems. Claims that biodiversity credits are additional contributions to biodiversity protection and would not ultimately be used for offsetting purposes are either naive or false, to put it mildly. And if biodiversity credits are purchased without the intention of using them for offsetting purposes, they are most likely purchased for greenwashing purposes. 3. It's a fail on equity and human rights. International biodiversity markets will allow elites, especially in the global north, to continue destroying ecosystems while purchasing cheap and abundant credits from the global south to offset their overconsumption. It will likely drive land grabbing, community displacement, increased land inequality, and human rights abuses. This is carbon offsets do. There is no reason to expect any different but worse. 4. Market-driven failures just get perpetuated and get worse. Market-based biodiversity protection, driven primarily by short-term financial considerations, cannot be consistent with scientific knowledge on species and ecosystem prioritization needs. These problems with additionality, permanence, leakage, and baseline manipulations will be much worse in biodiversity markets than in carbon markets, where these problems already exist. 5. The measurement methodologies for complex ecosystems are hopelessly lousy and weak. 6. There will be unpredictable revenue swings for recipients and fickle economic incentives for conservation. Major companies are already pulling out of the carbon markets after reasoned exposés of inherent flaws. There is every reason to expect that the biodiversity market will follow the same path. 7. There is appalling governance and serious conflicts of interest. Biodiversity offsets and credit schemes that result in human rights violations or do not live up to minimal environmental standards are rarely ever sanctioned. The central involvement of organizations such as VERA, which has been responsible for issuing hundreds of millions of phantom carbon credits and have been unable to prevent human rights abuses in projects, is highly problematic. There is a serious conflict of interest when the same organizations which are financially benefiting from the issuance of credits see the process of standard setting and third-party validification and verification. In summary, biodiversity credits and offset schemes are false solutions to a false problem. There are much better ways to increase biodiversity financing. Like carbon offsetting, it enables rich countries, corporate actors, financial institutions to profit from the biodiversity crisis they have created and maintain the status quo while avoiding implementing politically difficult decisions to regulate destructive activities while creating a new asset class for their financial sectors. Our demand is for it to stop. Instead, we want to prioritize transformational change in tackling the underlying causes of biodiversity loss. Thank you.